had an issue last night. I changed up the spark plug, and not that I really needed a new one, but it was more of, you know, safety. Just go ahead and replace the plug for a while. Anyway, so as I'm changing the plug, the metal piece hits the frame and there's like this little spark, and I'm like, what would that be from? Well, my relay was up there for the dual start, and it must have shorted out the relay is what I'm guessing happened. So that sucked. So I tinkered around with it a little bit, but I think I'm just going to have to pick up another relay. But the good news is she pull started this morning. I've just been so spoiled not having to pull start. It's good and strong. I like it. So this 360 camera is awesome. It's just hard to find a place to put it. So I'm going to tuck it inside my front. So I'm ready to get it. Alright. I don't feel as nervous about this launch as I did the last one. Just because I know I'm going to have to run. And actually, it looks like there's a little bit of a head. It went away. There was a little bit of a headwind. I tightened my wing just a little bit, and it pulled up really quick. So I am hopeful that I can get off the ground. Not too much running. I've got a bigger spot to work with than I did the last time. And the last time I thought that was more than enough space to work with. So anyway, make it work. Just have to walk a quarter mile to get to my wing, which is kind of sick. Well, this is nice. I kited it right toward the bush. Now I'm flying the Spider today. Not really for any reason other than just to fly differently. What the hell? Hard to tell from my sock. My windsock way over there. Alright, the flying back. Now the winds! Finger firing up again. I'm not super concerned about the overall wind today. Okay. I've been practicing launching with gloves a few times now at home in hopes to kind of cannot tell where that wind, it almost looks like it's alright, we're just gonna have to power through here.
I remember after this flight just being in this daze. Like, what did I just do? What did I just experience? With the hot air balloons, with the beautiful, beautiful rock, being able to fly so close, it was just mesmerizing. And I was quiet the entire way back. And I'm walking back to camp right now, just shaking my head with a big smile. Now, conditions were really good still, so I decided I'm going to go back up and fly a little bit more. I just wanted to warm up a little bit. Hey everybody, I have this permanent smile on my face. I was walking through Walmart. I had to stop out there to pick up a few supplies, and people probably thought there was something wrong with me because I just couldn't get this grin off my face, and I'll tell you why. Today started out pretty amazing. Actually, it started out very cold, but it got amazing very quickly. So I had everything set up to fly this morning. I set my motor up last night. I covered it because I thought it was going to be cold enough. Maybe there was some frost, which there was, so I'm glad I put a tarp over it. Everything was set up and ready to go this morning. So as soon as I got up and felt that frigid temperature, there was one little part of me that thought, is it worth flying in this? It's going to be so cold. The rest of me said, get your ass out of bed, dress up warm. I turned the truck on. I warmed it up on the inside. Within a few minutes, I felt very comfortable. I got outside. Yeah, it was cold, but I was excited because I looked up at my windsock. That thing was just steadily moving, probably about a 3-mile-per-hour wind. So I got my motor running. I had to pull start it. Yesterday, I had an issue changing out my spark plug. It was the weirdest thing. So I'm changing out my spark plug I didn't need to, but I'm about to fly in some maybe not so pleasant area, so it's worth changing it out. And the wrench hit the frame, and there was a little spark, and I'm like, where did that spark come from? So I have an electric starting paramotor, and I thought maybe the switch was on, but the switch was off, so I didn't know exactly what it was. I didn't put too much into it. I changed out the plug, got the prop on, went through all my safety checks, everything looked great. And I thought, before I go to bed, I should probably make sure the starter's still working. So I go and I click the electric start, and the relay goes click, click, click. I'm like, damn it, something shorted out that relay. So anyway, I thought, I got pull start, I'll just pull start it in the morning. Well, getting up in the morning and it's 37 degrees out, I take the tarp off the paramotor and I set it down, and I'm like, this is going to take some work. And the first pull, I could just tell this motor did not want to start. It was not happy me trying to cycle through it. After a couple pulls, it got a little bit easier. Finally, she fired up, and when it started, it just real low idle, and it just do. But anyway, it started, and I let it idle for about 20 minutes. I went and set my wing up. The winds were pretty consistent, but they kept going from like a southeast wind to an east wind. So anyway, not too big of a deal. So I got everything set up and threw the motor on my back, went down there, and I knew last time I launched in Arizona just a few days ago, it was really hard to get off the ground, and that was a no-wind situation or pretty light wind. So I expected to be running. Instead of using the Sirocco, I decided to take the Spider out, just because I didn't know what kind of conditions I was going to deal with, and I wanted to fly much closer to the cliffs. So anyway, bigger wing, I'm thinking, all right, this is going to take some work. I inflate the wing, and immediately it goes up, steady pressure. I gave it a little bit of gas, and I was probably off the ground within, I don't know, 10 steps, which is really good in this area. That seems kind of normal where I'm from. Anyway, felt so amazing. I just floated right up, got above the little ridge, and then I could see the Red Rock, the canyon area, and then I start seeing hot air balloons. Wow, it was so beautiful. There was probably 6 of them, and I started heading in their direction just to get close to them. It makes it kind of cool to fly around them. But I figured they're doing tours and whatnot, so I didn't want to bother them with the noise of the motor. So I kept my distance, and I worked my way over to the canyon area. Now let me fix this camera. I'll explain my issue with my camera. So I get over to the canyon area, and I'm cold. My hands are cold. The rest of me is really good. I'm very comfortable. Fortunately, conditions weren't too bad where I could slip my hands kind of inside my jacket and my right hand in the pocket just to keep the wind, the air from blowing on them. Now the gloves I have work great, probably 45 degrees and up. Under that, they're not so good. So my hands were a little bit frigid, but I was not going to let that stop me. I was able to get right on the edge of these canyons. There was very little wind. I felt very little turbulence in any of the areas. I tested it out thoroughly before I decided to commit. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So I flew around them a little bit. I know I needed about 3 liters of gas to get back home or back to my campsite. So I turned around and I started heading back, and once again the hot air balloons, I catch up to them again. So after landing, the landing was so awesome, the winds were still perfect. I decided I'm going to go warm up just a little bit, gas up, and get back up in the air. So within about 15 minutes, I launched again, another awesome launch, and I just cruised around my area, my LZ area, and hit some of the trails and the areas I rode my motorcycle yesterday. And I got to play around a little bit. It was, like I said, I couldn't stop smiling. And I started to think about what we do as PPG pilots. You get so caught up in the fact that you've got hours and hours of flying and experience, and you get comfortable and maybe complacent once in a while. But to do what we do, to just take off in a field, or in this area is a big parking lot, and just go fly and see the world in a way that most people will never see it. It's majestic. It literally is majestic what we're doing. And I just had this overall appreciation for it today, not just with my surroundings, but just having this motor with me on this trip and being able to just find a spot and take off into the sky. It's just amazing. It almost brings a tear to your eye because it's so real, yet it feels so unreal at the same time. It's hard to really conceptualize that. To trying to explain it to someone who's never flown, who probably just see the activity more as terrifying, or I would never do that. You know, I would mess something up, or the equipment would fail, or, you know, whatever negative connection they would have with the idea of paramotoring. But for those of us who do it, you all know how amazing it is, and just never forget that. Don't ever get complacent to the point where flying is just another activity like riding your motorcycle. It is nothing like that. It is on such a different level that, I don't know, it's absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. There actually isn't even a word to describe it, because I hear people use the word amazing to describe something they ate. Like, oh, this ice cream is amazing. And that's just a total misuse of the word, for one thing. So anyway, I got back to camp after flying. I burned another probably 4 liters of gas, so a total of about 12 liters today. I got back and the sun was out, it was warm. I was putting camp up. I was just enjoying this experience. It's such an amazing experience. So, what am I doing now? I hit Walmart. I got a few food supplies and a couple of other things I needed. I hit the auto parts store and got a new relay for the paramotor, so I think I can switch that out tonight, and I should have my electric start back. I hit a Dollar General and swapped out my LP tank, so my gas fireplace, I still have that for the next few days. It's amazing how long that thing has lasted. Probably 4 nights, at least 4 nights of use. Now I'm heading to Utah. Right on the border between Utah and Arizona, there's a lake and a cool canyon area, and supposedly you can camp on the lake. So I'm gonna go check it out. If it's too busy, I'm not gonna camp there. Should be a nice spot though. From what I've seen and what I've read, it seems like a pretty cool spot. So I've got about a 3-hour drive, which is great because I need to charge up my batteries, my external battery, my Blue Yeti battery, and then I'm also charging up my Sur-ron battery. So it's kind of good to have a little bit of road time, get everything back up to where it needs to be. All right, guys, I'm just going to take some time to soak in my day. I will leave you with some epic video to watch, and we'll see you pretty soon, I'm sure. I only got about a 3-hour drive, so. All right, guys, take it easy.